Well, hello everybody.
Hello.
And welcome.
Yes, welcome. Hello.
You can see
Yes.
we're sitting here in a beautiful sunny field
Yes.
at the rugby club in Wareham,
Yeah.
in Dorset.
Yeah.
And we've had a few questions about how do you go on rallies and why do you go on rallies and stuff like that. So we thought we'd explain a bit about our sort of process that we've been through, and why we prefer to go on rallies and so on. I had a few questions also about why do we have air conditioning fitted when we're clearly going to be off grid for most of the summer, and so on and so on. And we're just going to explain a bit about that as well. So we joined the Motor Caravanners Club. Was it last year, didn't we? When we got Jasmine Meyer.
Yeah. Yes.
And we started to go on rallies, specifically for motorhomes. That's the Motor Caravanners Club. That's what they do, and it was a real sort of low-cost way of getting away, meeting up with like-minded people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the Motor Caravanners Club was.
It was good locations, and it didn't have electric hookup, but apart from that, it had everything we need: water, arson, and everything. And it was a lot cheaper than staying on even CL sites.
Yeah.
So, and it was always, they were always pitched where we could walk to the pub or the villages or get buses and things like that.
It was always on or near a main route or town. So outside the place where you'd pitch up would be a bus stop, or just down the road would be a train station, or it would be a 5-minute walk into a major town. And that, that's really good. So the Motor Caravanners Club, excellent, because it's only for motorhomes and camper vans. If you've got a caravan, pretty much you can't go. And I think if you join when you've got a motorhome and then you switch to a caravan halfway through, they'll let you come for that year. But next year you're not going to be allowed.
It just takes all the hard work out of maybe going to CLs, and though it says quarter of a mile to the pub, it's down the most dangerous lane ever. So that's why. Yeah. Because when they're chosen, the places, they're geared for people with motorhomes, not cars and caravans, so you can drive out. So that's why we like them, and the same with the Auto Trail Club.
Well, when we switched over to Nikita Chloe Auto Trail, we thought, well, and I don't know how I found it. I just spotted it, the Auto Trail Owners Club, and I thought, oh well, we'll join that. I thought it was an online. I think I joined the Facebook group or something, and then I realised it was a proper club that you could join, and then. Well, when I joined it, because I think it was only like 25 quid to join for the year, and you could go on all these rallies with other Auto Trail owners, which is, it's one thing going on rallies with motorhome owners and being sort of motorhome centric, but it's an entirely different thing going to a place where, we're situated here. There's like 40 Auto Trail motorhomes of all different shapes and sizes. So some are exactly the same as ours, some of the newer models, some of the very older models, and everything in between. It's just really, and everybody is so helpful and knowledgeable about Auto Trail. They know how the Auto Trail thing works. So if you wanted any information about your motorhome, it's easy to find somebody, and if you can't find somebody just naturally, just ask somebody who knows about this, and they'll know somebody that's either at this rally or is going to be at another rally, or how to contact them. So it's really, really great. Going on to the financial side of things, staying on CL sites these days, well, what we found is over the last 2 years, CL sites are becoming more and more expensive, and these days a lot of CL sites, I know, when we first started, you go on a CL site for pretty cheap money, but now a lot of CL sites are are the price of a standard club site used to be, but standard club prices are going up as well. So, I was looking at a site earlier today online because somebody had sort of recommended it, and it's £23 for a fully serviced pitch per night for 2 people, but there's a £5 motorhome premium on top of that, so it's like £28 a night.
That's so bad.
So you're driving up in your home on wheels that's cost you an arm and a leg, and they want to charge you sort of down market hotel prices, with not much else than a pitch, being able to fill up with water and being able to empty your grey waste.
Same as you've got with
so,
the rally sites.
So,
well, not all the rally sites. I mean, we stay in them, and we will be staying in those that have got toilets and showers. And I mean, this one's got a nice bar, and obviously use the toilet if you go to the bar when it's open. But often there's a shower we can use. So, and I'll tell you another thing: the prices, especially in the school holidays. I mean, we'll be staying in somewhere like, say. We'll be staying in, I'll tell you, it's on the east coast, that lovely seaside place, and it's called Up North on the East, and it's called, it's yes, come on, you know it. It's where we haven't waiting to see if we can get on there. Whitby, yes, Whitby.
We're hoping to go to a rally. We're on the waiting list.
Yeah.
I think we might be able to get fitted on there. It depends on what the site is like and how they can space people out as to whether they get another few people on.
But it's on very near the sea.
It's Whitby. We haven't been there
August,
before,
and you've got the facilities, and I don't know if it's about £8 or £9 or £10 a night.
It's less than £10 a night, and the previous rally that we were on, previous to this one, £7.50 a night.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean you could fill up with water, empty your house, and there weren't any showers, but it was £7.50 a night, and we've got toilet, shower, and cooking facilities on board, and they'd set up a marquee tent so that we could have gatherings. So it was like a clubhouse. You take your own drinks and stuff.
We had plenty of food and wine and sangria, didn't we? They provided for us. It was wonderful.
When you start to look at that, and and I've spoken to some people,
that's
and they say,
why it's good, especially in the summer. Yeah,
you're being a bit stingy, aren't you? Because what's the matter with paying £15 or £20 a night for 2 of you? So that's £10 a night each. But I think those people they're coming from a position where they're going away for a weekend or a week a few times a year, where you spend £60 to stay 3 nights, or you spend £80 to stay 3 nights, or whatever you do, but that is just a tiny chunk of money for your little holiday. We're doing this 365 nights a year.
And I think we meet all the time, quite a few people on all our rallies who do the same thing as us.
So when you think,
the whole summer, and then they'll be abroad all winter. Yeah. So that's why. And I'd much rather come here than be on a big site, because I like it better.
And we're starting to sort of make friends. We're recognising people. You can have a chat, and it becomes they're almost like the next door neighbours that live in your street.
Yes, definitely.
So you get to know people. You're not like real next door neighbours. You get to know them really, really well, but you spend a bit of time with them, and they become sort of acquaintances rather than good friends, as it were. You're not with them all the time.
And we don't treat it like our whole life like we're on holiday. No. We do our work and it's just like it's somewhere we live, where we do live, and we just do normal things as though it was just like cleaning and whatever else we do, and going out shopping and walking the dog. It's we're not paying money and going to see sights all the time, or going out for the day to all these places. We don't, because we live a life like that.
Get back to that, the cost of these. When you start to think about, these are averagely maybe, let's just round figures, let's call it £10 a night. and let's round figures call a standard site pitch £20 a night. So we're saving 10 times 365 a year. So that's a big chunk of money. Now anybody, and that's just, on average. I'm sure it's more than that, because we're some of the rallies we're going on are down at £7, £8 a night. And some of the sites that we've stayed on, and actually one site that we're going to stay on purpose because we're meeting up with family. They're going to a site, they're on holiday, they're in a tent, we're going to a site, and for 2 nighs?
Yes.
For 2 nights, we're paying £130. That's for 2 people with all our own facilities. Okay.
So I tell you what is incensed me about that. I phoned them up. I said, we want to stay
Grass
with a pitch with no electricity. No, you couldn't have it. We're too big. So because we've got this van, we've had to pay for a fully serviced pitch, which we don't need, and that's how much it's costing us.
And it's a holiday site.
Yes.
So it have a lot of facilities for children. I mean,
it's worth every penny because we want to stay there with our grandchildren. So we're happy
I'm not moaning about it,
but,
because we want to do it.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't normally book into that.
I'd be incensed if, like they said, like we have to have a fully serviced. You can't even just have a pitch with electricity or anything. You've got to have it fully serviced.
That's what it is.
You're 8 metres. So
it's just short of 130 quid for the 2 nights. So, £65 a night for 2 people. That's getting on for 5-star hotel prices.
We do enjoy it though. We've been to the site in the past over the years, so it's a lovely. We'll have a lovely time. But that's just an example of how
it's probably worth the money, because they've got swimming pools, the clubhouse, restaurant, games, archery, all the things that you'd want to do while you're on holiday. But that's the sort of stuff that we're trying to avoid spending out that much money, as you would in your home. If you had a way that you could reduce your bills, you'd do that, right? Like if you can swap electricity provider and knock £5 a month off your bill, you're going to do it. Well, that's what we're doing. We're switching from those high price pitch providers to these low price pitch providers. And okay, maybe you don't get exactly the same thing, but we don't need much.
No.
And that's that's the key point, really.
And I think the good thing is because we don't use electricity because we've got the solar panels, and water we're so economical with, so we don't have to keep filling up, that it's really, really hard to use any water. So it is quite green living in a van.
So in terms of the electricity, I'm very happy to report Wendy charged up the vacuum cleaner today.
Yep.
It was on charge for about an hour and a half. Only with the batteries started when we switched on the inverter. The battery level was 12.5 volts, and that's a measure of how much power is in it. When we charged that up, it was on 12.4 volts, so it lost 0.1 of a volt out of it. Now, bearing in mind the maximum charge in the battery's going to be like 13.4, and the minimum charge is going to be down to 11.4. So you've got sort of 2 volts to play with, if you like, in terms of charge capacity before it's fully flat. So it wasn't bad at all.
No.
So I'm not. We've been out for a big long walk today, and I meant to be wiring up the microwave plug today, but I forgot. We went out instead, and then we're going to go out this evening to have a bit of a gathering with the rest of the rally group here. But it looks like I'm going to easily be able to run a power socket from the inverter up into the microwave cupboard, so that we can plug other things in there as well. It'll be hidden away inside the cupboard.
Yeah.
That'll be
good.
That'll be good. Yeah. So pretty soon, within the next few days, I'll probably wire up a cable that'll run down to there, and it'll be testing the microwave, see how much that goes, and I've got one microwavable Watt kitchen noodle box.
Yeah.
3 minutes it takes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to go in there.
Yeah.
First of all.
Definitely.
And we can say that it's going to be, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But if you're sort of to and fro and wondering whether you can live in a motorhome or caravan, I would say, both are pretty much the same. You've got to find sites where you can stay. You've got to not worry about moving relatively often, unless you're going to pay for a seasonal pitch on a site somewhere. And I know that seasonal pitches can range anywhere from maybe £1,500 a year up to £5,000 or £6,000 a year, depending on what part of the country you're in, what facilities they offer, and the length of the season as well. So some do like 7-month, 8-month seasons, some do 9 or 10, some do 12-month seasons. Obviously the 12-month season is going to be a little bit more expensive than the 8-month season, but you can book up on there, and you can leave your caravan or motorhome on there. But most of them, because of council tax rules, you will have to move off physically yourself. You have to move your person off the site for about 2 days. I think it's like 24 or 36 or 48 hours to avoid paying council tax and to comply with the site license. So that's whether you get a seasonal pitch, go in a motorhome, park up. You don't have to move the motorhome off, but it's probably where you live, so you can go off and wild camp for a couple of days, or book onto a CL site, or go on a rally or whatever, and then come back for another 21 or 28 days, whatever the rules are. So you can do it. A lot of people do seasonal and then go off down to the southern parts of Europe in their motorhome or caravan, and they get around it that way. So they spend 3 months out of the country, 9 months in, and book on a seasonal pitch, and that's a pretty easy way to permanently live in your motorhome. Other things that you probably need to think about, apart from all the costs and stuff, is if one of you get ill, isn't it?
Yes.
Something that I'm very aware of, that Nikita Chloe has never been driven by Wendy, and I'm keen when we get some clear sort of thinking time to get that in place and give Wendy a lot more practice on driving the huge beast that is Nikita Chloe.
Yeah.
So if I was ill and we had to move the van, Wendy would have to drive it. She's licensed and insured to drive it, so legally no problem.
Just have to do it on a wing and a prayer, wouldn't we?
Well, you would have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to take it very slow and very carefully.
Yeah.
It's those sorts of things that you need to worry about, or not worry about, but think about when you're sort of living full time or permanently touring as we do. So anyway, well, I hope that one other thing, air conditioning. Why did we spend all that money having aircon fitted when we've never blooming well used it? Well, that is not true that we've never used it. We have used it. We used it in Sweden And you might think, well, you were up there, it was -10. How come you used the aircon? It's a dual climber, so it has cold and hot. So we used it as a heater as well. And it was much more effective than the onboard electric heating. You know, because we'd sort of run low on the gas, so we weren't heating on gas. So you know, there we are. But the aircon was fine as a heater.